Oh, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are the Mighty Guru Yoggers. Oh yes, we are. Look where I slept last night. Absolutely fantastic in my hammock. This is Yarn Cliff Quarry. I'll have a lot more to say about that in a minute. I'll also, once I get moving, because I've got a deadline here, have a lot more to say about the virtues of hammocking instead of sleeping in a tent. Stop recording. Well, here we are then, Yarn Cliff Quarry. Incidentally, I just had a fabulous night's sleep. Drifted off probably about 12:30. I had arrived here at about 10:30. Didn't wake up once in the night. Can't recommend sleeping in a hammock enough. So, Yarn Cliff Quarry. First came here probably, I don't know, 40 years ago. Yes, in my 20s, when I was a very keen rock climber. It's not the first time I've slept in the quarry here, by the way. So yeah, Yarn Cliff is a very popular climbing venue. However, at the moment, as you can see, people are being asked not to climb here because there are birds nesting. And I can actually see the nest up in the crack, about 2/3 of the way up the rock face. So it's a popular place for people to come and learn how to climb, which might seem surprising because it looks quite formidable. However, it leans back at something like a 70-degree angle, and as is characteristic of quarried gritstone, the holds tend to be very positive in cut, and you also have a system of cracks running up and down the crag, which make for really good handholds. But yeah, it's a popular place, as I say, with beginners. There are some more difficult climbs here. For example, up the outside edge of the crag here, that's quite difficult. And the blank looking wall in the middle there, there's a climb goes up the middle of that. But again, it's a bit deceptive. It's actually littered with sharp little in-cut holes. So yeah, spent many a happy day here. Anyways, it's time to get packed up, and this is the first virtue of hammocking that I want to extol. It's no faff, absolutely no faff. Might take you 10-15 minutes to put up a tent, not so a hammock. And that's it. Simplicity itself. Depending on the design of your hammock, I've had this one for a very long time. It's served me well. You attach it to 2 straps which go around any 2 trees that are a certain distance apart. You kind of get an eye for it after years of experience. I use climbing slings simply because I've got climbing slings. Any kind of webbing strap will do, a little bit of rope would do, whatever you want to use. You do need it to be adaptable in terms of length, and so I use the 4-foot sling and the 2-foot sling, and there are different ways of putting them around the trees that also adjust the length. For example, you can use what climbers call a lark's foot knot, which is where you just rethread the carabiner back through, and that will give you a longer length here. In order to shorten it, you just double it up, clip it into the carabiner, shorter length. You know, there are ways and means of extending or reducing the length of the fixings. Really, really flexible. All you need is a little coppice, or even, you know, 2 trees close enough together for putting your hammock between. You can sleep anywhere, arrive late, depart early. Nobody's even going to know you were there. And I mean, on the rare occasions in the past when I've been hammocking, somebody has walked past. They're more interested in discussing how wonderful it is to sleep in a hammock than to say you really shouldn't be hammocking here, you know. Well, you know, what are people going to do? They're not going to do anything. And me, anarchist, don't give a damn. Going to get packed up now, and then I have to get moving because I have some place to be. Stop recording. Alrighty, I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. And I need coffee. That then was Yarncliffe Quarry, one of my old rock climbing stomping grounds. Yes. Well now, I can hear you asking, what are you up to this time, Mighty Guru Yogurt? That's what you're saying. You're saying, what's that Mighty Guru Yogurt up to this time? Well, I'll tell you, shall I? Yes, I will. I'm in Derbyshire. I rode down from Cumbria yesterday, finally left the Lake District at about 4 o'clock, and at about 9 o'clock I had an interesting journey. I was in Derbyshire. So why Derbyshire? Well, I'll tell you. Derbyshire is only about an hour away from Birmingham. And as regular viewers will know, my eldest son, the Benji Mouse, check out his channel just here, lives in Birmingham. Yes. I flew the nest very early on, but Benjamin still lives there. Yes. And he is quite possibly, I'd say 70-30, those are good odds, getting on his motorcycle today and riding up to see me. And then we're going to have 2 or 3 hours of riding around the glorious Peak District. And then he's going home, and so am I, because I'm going back to work in the morning. Yes. Now, I need coffee. Fortunately, I know the area very well, and I know where I can get a coffee most conveniently. And it's just down here. After which, once I've had confirmation from the Benji Mouse that he is on the way, I will be making my way in a southwesterly direction across the Peak District to a little place called Ashbourne, which is where we're going to be meeting up there or thereabouts. Here's a little village called Grindleford. I actually worked in a pub here once, many moons ago. Yes, many moons ago. Back to extolling then the virtues. Back to extolling then the cut. Start again. Back then to extolling the virtues of hammocking above hammocking. I'll try one more time. Back then to extolling the virtues of hammocking over camping. Well, I've already spoken about the quickness of putting up a hammock. I've spoken about the fact that you can sleep pretty much anywhere there are 2 trees close together, and if you arrive late and leave early, nobody will really know you were ever there. There is, of course, the space-saving aspect. Now, the hammock packs down into a very small little stuff sack, probably 6 inches long, 4 inches in diameter, absolutely tiny. And were you not too certain that it wasn't going to rain, you could also bring along a tarp, which you can fit over the hammock between the same two trees and add practically nothing to the bulk of the package. So that's virtue number 3. Virtue number 4 is kind of, you could argue, a subjective one. There is, to my mind, nothing nicer in terms of sleeping than sleeping out in the open with nothing between you and the sky. Now, last night was it was cozy. It wasn't the least bit cold. I knew there wasn't going to be any rain. There was no rain all night, and I was just able to gaze up at what I could see of the sky, which wasn't a huge amount. As I say, it was very cloudy, but on a clear starlit night it really is a wonderful thing. And so, yes, on the one hand you feel unprotected, but ask yourself, what kind of protection does a tent give you? I mean, if the bears are coming around, they're going to rip through your tent. If the tigers are coming, then the lions or snakes or whatever it is, they're not going to be stopped by a tent, are they? You know, so there's no real loss there. Also, you can, by just shifting your weight in the hammock, rock yourself gently to sleep. Yes, it's a wonderful thing. And then, of course, as you've just seen, it takes no time to put up and take down in the morning. Okay, I will be having coffee in a moment. It's a Ninja 500, look. Right, so, little village called Calver. It's been a cafe here for many, many years. It's changed hands a number of times. It's now owned by the local capitalist, who also owns the garage over the road and the spa next door, yes. Benjamin's been on, yes, I'm going to have to answer him. So anyway, I've ordered an Americano. It's coming in a moment. Going to drink that, get in touch with the Benjamin Mouse, and see how the day's going to pan out. So, coffee's arrived. I'm going to drink that. I've just had a telephone call with the Benjamin Mouse. He's actually on the way. He's got away slightly earlier than he was expecting to, and he'll be in Ashbourne within the hour, which means that I need to be too. So I'm going to drink up my coffee and get moving. Here we are leaving Calver then, and on the way to Ashbourne to meet up with the Benjamin Mouse. First time in a long time. It's always nice riding with the Benjamin Mouse, even though he's on a far faster motorcycle than me. Benjamin, you might remember, has a Triumph Speed Triple 765 R. It's got a R in it somewhere, I'm sure. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. I did actually leave the Lake District on Mr. Suzuki. However, his fuel delivery problems were back, and so I turned around and went back home and came on the magnificent beast here. Yes, I'm now looking at stripping away the carbs on Mr. Suzuki and rebuilding them, because I've now become pretty convinced that it's a jetting problem rather than a fuel delivery problem. So anyway, we'll see about that in the middle of next week. I'm back at work tomorrow. So far as I know, I'm only working Sunday and Monday this week, so there'll be plenty of time midweek next week for piddling around with Mr. Suzuki. We're heading down now to Bakewell, at which point we'll be going through the town and then over the tops through Monash and then on to Ashbourne. Probably about 40 minutes ride, which should coincide quite nicely with the arrival of the Benji Mouse. After which, at this point in time, we have precisely no plan. But we'll grab a coffee, I guess, and talk about where we're going to go. Probably ride for 2 or 3 hours, and then the Benji Mouse will head for home, and I will head back up to Cumbria. Back off! Fuck's sake. Being very seriously tailgated for the last mile or so there. Dealt with now, he's got the message.